Welcome back everyone. So after we installed MySQL and MySQL Workbench, which is the graphical user interface, let's now run MySQL Workbench. In Windows operating system, you might find it in the program list. So click on MySQL Workbench. This is the main page of MySQL Workbench. First, we need to connect to our server because this is only a graphical user interface. You need to connect to the server that we installed. So by default, we have here connection 1. And as you see here, this is the administrator user, which is root user. If you click on this connection, it will ask you to put your password. And as you remember, I mentioned that you should remember this password. Otherwise, you need to install your server again. So I use the same password as username to memorize it. This is for training purpose only. So it's ROOT and click enter. And as you see here, this is our working environment. So the name of this connection is connection 1. You may change the name and you may make another connection with this server. Automatically, you can see here that MySQL Workbench already opened a new query for you. Here where you can type your SQL commands or syntax. You can close this query which is already called query 1 and you can come here and click on this icon. Click create a new SQL tab for executing queries. Click on it and there we go. You can find here that we got the same thing. And the second icon here, SQL, to open a SQL script that you already saved. So if you click on this one, it will open this menu to select something you already saved. This icon here is to create a new schema. A schema means here in MySQL a database. So keep in mind, in MySQL, database is called a schema, while it is called in Microsoft SQL Server a database. And we are going to see how to create a new database using SQL commands and graphical interface. Here you can create a new table if you already connected to a certain database. And here you can create a new view and you're going to understand what is the meaning of view later on in this course. And here you can create a new stored procedure, and also this is something you're going to learn later. And this is the function, where you can create a function, and also you are going to learn these later on. And here in view, you can change the view of your screen, query where you can execute the queries, and here where we can connect to a database and manage the connections. Here is the server. So as I mentioned, I don't want to present everything here in the first time because you're going to forget most of these things after a while. So let's first focus on the important stuff here. On the left side, here is the management. In the beginning, we don't need to touch these things here because it's mainly related to server management. And this is not the main focus of this course. If you go down, you can see here clearly we are on administration option. If you want to go to schemas or databases here, just we need to click here on schemas. If we need to manage schemas, we just need only to click on schemas. So now we moved to the schemas. This is our focus in this course. We need to know how to manage our databases and their contents. So as you see here, we have only one database or schema, which is sys. This is the system database. And the system database is the database responsible for managing all other databases and functions. If you click here on this play, you can see what's inside this one. So we don't need to touch this database at all. This is not something we need to mess with. So we don't have to do anything with this database. We are going to create our own database here. And we are going to learn to do that in the next tutorials. So stay tuned.